between if you guys feel that you have any questions or anything, so you can ping me. I'll I will not be able to take all the question, but I'll try to take couple of questions as far as possible. Okay. So guys, let's start. Let's start with the agenda first, and then I will introduce myself formally. Okay. So just a minute. All right. So just guys, just give me thumbs up or kind of a confirmation that everything is okay. You are able to see my screen and you are able to hear me properly. So guys, I think most of them are able to hear me and able to see my screen. So who's are not able, then maybe you can check your connection from your side. Okay. Okay, guys, I am getting a lot of response. Thanks for the confirmation. Awesome, lovely. So it's like I will not be able to take individual's name, guys. It's a huge crowd, like 300, 400 plus people. So yeah. Okay. So guys, let's get started. So agenda for the today, first we'll try to discuss the agenda, and then we'll deep dive into the introduction and all. Okay. So let me go into the agenda first. So guys, agenda for the today. Okay, agenda for the day will be. So let me start annotating it so everyone will be able to see. So guys, first we'll try to understand about the AI part. AI part, everyone know nowadays what is AI, but we'll try to understand when I am trying to talk about the AI part, that in AI, how can we simplify the definition of the AI, what exactly AI means, and what is more interesting to understand is different capabilities of the AI, okay, different types of AI we have, okay. So once we understand the different AI, different categories of AI, we'll try to bifurcate between then once we are able to understand like what is the difference between AI, within the AI, you might have heard the topics like generative AI, machine learning, data science, right? So deep learning, all these concept, NLP. So we'll try to connect the dots. We'll try to understand how these things fits in into each one of them, how they are trying to fit in into the arena of the AI. And then on the based on the capabilities of the AI, we'll try to understand that how the normal AI is different or traditional approach is different from the generative AI. What makes generative AI very special? So we'll try to deep dive how to bifurcate between Gen AI, traditional AI, what are the differences. Then once we're able to understand that, we'll try to deep dive into understanding the Gen AI, like what are the basic algorithm which are used in the Gen AI, how to identify Gen AI, what category is a Gen AI, what category is not a Gen AI. And then we'll try to understand that how Gen AI is trying to reshape the industry. We'll try to keep it very short focus because we have to cover the prawns and other things as well. Then guys, we'll try to understand what are the leading tools in the market for the generative AI. So what are the top 10 tools, and maybe I'll try to give you a glimpse of the tools, like how the tools look like and what is the usage very quickly. And then once we are able to understand the AI, Gen AI, how the Gen AI is different from the traditional AI, how it is impacting the industries across the verticals, and what are the different tools available in the market. Okay. And after that, we'll try to understand something called as, okay, something called as how this Gen AI is trying to impact the entire industry. Then in the Gen AI, okay, guys, I know you might be having certain questions, so we'll try to give you some time in between to answer your questions. Okay, so once we are able to understand, guys, the different application of Gen AI, and not only we'll try to understand the application of Gen AI, we'll try to understand what are the limitations as well. Okay, so what are the limitations for the Gen AI, like how Gen AI is trying to impact the industry, but what are certain limitation, like we need to understand the ethics, bias, and limitations of the Gen AI as well. And then mostly we'll try to understand that what are the career pathways for the Gen AI if you want to. And this is very important that we'll try to focus certain time, like one slide or couple of slides, try to understand the job market and whether the AI will take your job or not, right? This is the popular myth among the people that all the jobs will be taken away by the AI. So how the AI is going to impact the entire industry, job market, and how, if you want to do upskilling for the Gen AI, so what is the roadmap in order to become a Gen AI expert? Okay, so this is the brief agenda, and then in the end we'll try to talk about the prompts, and maybe I will try to showcase in the Chat GPT how, what is the power of the prompts. And in Chat GPT, guys, we'll try to run I already created some prompts, so I will make you guys understand that how the prompts could be powerful, what is the correct way to write the prompts, what are the prompts, what is LLM. And we'll try to focus also on the Chat GPT kind of architecture, I know we don't have much time, but we'll try to focus over the chat GPT, how the chat GPT gets trained. What are the three-step process through which the chat GPT kind of application get trained? And within that, we'll try to, I will give you some example of the chat GPT prompts that using that prompts, how can you increase your productivity? Okay. Yeah, guys. I will try to share this PPT as well for your reference. Okay. So I guess, guys, everyone is good with the agenda. So quick confirmation that are you guys now excited to understand these things? I know that our time limit is very short. Like within 1 hour, we have to understand these things. But let's have a look. Let's give a shot to it. Okay. So how I will try to cover as much as possible. All right, guys. Lovely. You guys are really amazing. So I am getting tons of responses. Very appreciated, guys. So let's move ahead quickly. And before we move ahead, let me quickly give me introduction. Very short introduction of mine. Then we can go here. Guys, who are not able to hear me, maybe you guys can check the connection from your side because most of them are able to hear me. Okay. I think it is better now. So better than earlier. I've checked my connection also. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So let me see. Can hear. Okay, guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, let me have a quick introduction of mine. Okay. This is who I am. Vikas Narune. I have a total 14 years of experience. Okay. And out of my entire experience, mostly I worked with the startup and big companies, which are focused mostly into the retail, supply chain, healthcare, media, streaming, and everything. Okay. So I am a Bachelor of Computer Science, and then I did my MBA. And guys, I did certain certifications mostly into the data science, deep learning, Gen AI, and MLP ops. Okay, and the rest of the things are not that important, I guess, because this could be a good overview. Okay, so and currently I'm engaged with one of the US client in order to build the Gen AI based platform, which are mostly into the educational platform, which are based on the Gen AI capabilities like the chatbots and the conversational AI and all. Okay. So I think this is good introduction. So let's deep dive without wasting our time. And guys, this slide is very special. Before we go ahead and start our entire discussion around the AI, Gen AI, and all the things, I would like to tell you one thing. Very good quote. Okay. Let's start our discussion with a very good quote, and I hope all of you must be agreeing with this. So, guys, there is a guy, Alvin Toffler. Okay, so Alvin Toffler gave a definition of who will be called as illiterate for the century. Okay, illiterate. So this is what the definition he's made. So I just pardon me, but I have just tried to rephrase his definition in terms of the AI, how that can be relevant in the AI. Okay, how that can be relevant in the AI, and how we can rephrase that terms in nowadays, looking at the buzz in the market. Okay, about the AI. So let me start with the quote, guys. So Alvin Toffler, if you don't know, he's a management guru, futurist. Okay, he's a big futurist and he's kind of a great, renowned author back in the States. Okay, and he always try to come up with a certain definitions which are very relevant to us. So let's understand what he said, and then I will try to rephrase his definition accordingly. So Alvin Toffler, guys, he made a definition, or you can say proverb, about the who will be called as illiterate of the century. So he says the illiterate of the century will in the 21st century will not be the one who cannot read and write. Okay, who cannot read and write, but who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn the things. Okay, so this is what his original definition was all about. But now, looking at the trend, looking at the buzz in the market about the AI, I have just rephrased it especially for the Gen AI, the illiterate going forward. Guys, mark my words, and this will be true. I hope you everyone will be agreeing to this word, that going forward the illiterate of the century will be the one who will not be able to. Okay, so experiencing echo. Okay, now it is okay, guys. I hope there should not be echo now. Okay, yeah, okay. So, guys, let's rephrase his quote. Okay, guys. Thanks for the confirmation. So, guys, let's rephrase his quote. Okay, so what I am going to rephrase it: the illiterate of the next century, guys. Illiterate of the next century will be the one who will not be able to okay, who will not be able to read and write, but who will not be able to learn the Gen AI, unlearn it and relearn it. Why I'm saying learn, unlearn and relearn? Because you guys already know that every day there are new technology, new models, new concept, new research papers are coming up, and so it's a very dynamic industry, right? So now going forward, whoso not be able to embrace this Gen AI, guys, who will be called as illiterate, and that's the rush. That's the reason, guys. That's the reason that every industry, every company is now going mad behind this AI, and especially the Gen AI, and everyone want to abreast and try to keep up with this Gen AI topics, right? So that's the reason they have come up with the special departments where everyone is trying to fill in this kind of a Gen AI kind of a position, and they wanted to work on the Gen AI because the Gen AI industry has completely made the industry trends and the software development industry upside down, right? And the recent advancement, if you guys have heard about the Devin, right? The humanoid robot. Can you guys just give me a confirmation that you heard of this Devin, the humanoid robot which can perform as a software engineer, right? So it's maybe you might have not heard it, but if you try to search it, guys, you will come to know. So this is one of the stage where we should be able to understand that why we'll be called as illiterate, right? And hope you guys now agree to me that looking at this trend and looking at the dynamics, that how the AI is now changing, so you will be called as illiterate if you don't learn the AI, okay? So, and that's the reason, guys. That's the reason. There's a quote from this Mr. Sundar Pichai, CEO of the Google and DeepMind, that artificial intelligence is going to have a profound impact on the humanity, just like the fire, electricity, and internet, right? So that's the reason I put in these quotes, and hope you guys will be agreeing to me. And this is the slide purposefully I have put in. And let's take a very relevant example before we deep dive into the AI. That how the AI is trying to impact our entire industry. You just name the industry, guys, and the AI is present. Let it be a gaming, let it be a media, hospitality, entertainment, right? Sports. Like in the sports, they have something called as now AI referee, right? AI referee, where just like the third umpire, they have a AI referee, where AI referee will be able to deliver the judgments which are like which are critical to them, right? Telecom. And what's most interesting, right? In India nowadays, we have elections, right? So we have a prime minister election. Even if you look at these things in the politics and government also, everywhere there is a AI present. And let me tell you like how the AI is present. And let's take the example of Mr. our esteemed prime minister, right? Narendra Modi, and he's mainly focusing on the usage of the AI in terms of the every industry. And let me give you the example that even the politicians are not behind, okay? So politicians are not behind using the AI, right? How they are using AI for their political campaign? They are using AI to understand the demography, right? To understand the vote banking, okay? To understand how that will be able to enable the AI in all the fields, right? So this is what they're using, and let's guess what the BJP and the other politician parties are doing. Whatever the speech is given, let's imagine in the Hindi, guys, using the AI, they're trying to convert into the different regional languages, and they're trying to spread it, right? So that's how intelligently they are using AI into all the fields, and even the politicians are not left behind. Correct. So that is the profound impact. Now you might be agreeing to what we are saying, that if you don't learn the AI, Gen AI, you will be called as illiterate, right? So even the people who are not that literate in the politicians also, they are using AI extensively nowadays in order to understand, right? So hope you guys are now able to relate the things, and let's move ahead then, and let's try to understand. Okay. So let's move ahead. Now, just to make a shorter definition of the AI, guys. So if I want to say, yeah, okay, Jyoti ma'am, thanks. Okay, so let's make a simple definition that what is AI actually, right? So AI is nothing but, let's take the example that AI or artificial intelligence, the name as it suggests, that it is the intelligence which was not there with the with the machines. I will say machines, right? With the machines or with the bots, correct? So the intelligence is what was not there, so we are artificially trying to inculcate the intelligence into the machine, and that's how they are able to perform the jobs just like the human beings. It is like imitating the human capabilities, right? It is like imitating. I know my handwriting is not that good, guys, just forgive me for that. So in one liner, guys, the ability to think, reason and understand, doing what is called as intelligence, and that intelligence has been artificially inculcated into the machines, into bots and the robots, right? So that is what the artificial intelligence is all about, right? So when I'm trying to say that artificial intelligence is nothing but we're trying to put our intelligence into that, so we can simply say that they are trying to perform a job. Can't we use AI to write while you speak. Yeah, guys, that is possible. Okay, that is also possible. So it is speech to text conversion is also possible. Okay, so that is also possible. All right, guys. So let's focus that if I want to make a simplest definition now for the AI, okay, the simplest definition for the AI, right? So AI will be like we are able to perform the human-like capabilities. Okay, human-like capabilities, and we're trying to perform imitate the human capabilities. Let it be we are trying to imitate, especially the how the working of the brain happens or the neural system in the entire human, okay, and the vision system, right? Especially the vision system, how the vision system works upon. We try to imitate these capabilities and try to put them into the bots or the machines, and the bots are able to perform this. Just switch on CC, okay? Okay, guys. So, okay, guys, let's move ahead then. So we already know now what is artificial intelligence. Let's move ahead and try to understand that how we can now decode the AI, okay, into the different categories, okay. So guys, when I'm trying to talk about the AI or types of the AI could be a software and AI could be hardware like embodiment. So software like virtual assistant, image recognition, search engine, speech to text, right, facial recognition system and all this. And when I'm trying to talk about the hardwares, especially the hardwares, robots, autonomous car, drones, or internet of things, or whatever the hardwares are there which are AI enabled, which are using the algorithms of AI, will be called as AI enabled embodiments, right? So when we have a software, or either it could be AI could be a software, AI could be hardware. Now, based on the capabilities, guys, based on the capabilities of AI, software and hardware, we'll try to bifurcate and try to understand that what are the capabilities which are present out here, right? So the first category, and now how they are decided that we'll try to bifurcate the AI into these categories. Okay, text to speech to creation of the agent. Yeah, already you guys already into the topics, right? So Rahul, yeah, correct. That's correct. So guys, try to understand, okay? Let's focus on like what are the different categories based on the capabilities. The first category will be called as weak or something called as narrow intelligence, okay? Narrow AI. So something called as narrow AI. Then there will be second category, which people are nowadays saying that we are living in this arena of the AI, that AGI, artificial general intelligence or general artificial intelligence. And the third category will be called as super artificial intelligence. Now try to understand what is the difference between these three, okay? The kind of the capability or kind of the functionality which they are trying to, AI is trying to perform, based on that we are trying to bifurcate. Let's take the example weak or narrow AI. What do you mean by weak or narrow AI? In weak or narrow AI, guys, they lacks the ability to think like the human being or the take the decision like a human being, but they can perform the specific task, okay? What are the specific tasks they are trained upon? They can perform that task, okay? That's what we call as narrow AI. What could be example? Apple, Siri, IBM Watson computer, which are trained on the certain specific task, right? So they are able to perform the task. Let's take the example of the Alexa, right? Virtual assistant. So Alexa, you can interact with Alexa through the speech, right? And it will be able to perform certain tasks. But if you ask Alexa, like, what is your thoughts about the today's AI development, or what is your thought about the future of the earth, right? So this kind of a task, it will not be able to perform, right? Like the chat GPT kind of application where you can try to converse them in the natural language, just like the human being, and they're able to think and give you the definition, give you the answer in relative human language, right? So that kind of a capabilities are lagging here, right? So they are trained on, yeah, Google Assistant could be one example, right? So Apple Siri, one example, guys. This kind of example are comes into the narrow AI because they are trained on the human-like capabilities, but to up to very certain extent, right? Like Apple Siri can send the email, can summarize the email, can call someone, but it cannot understand the thoughts, emotions, sentiments, right? This kind of a task, or automatically writing everything, right? This kind of a task cannot be done as per the human language, aligning with the human values, right? So this kind of a capabilities are called as narrow AI. So guys, then we nowadays everyone is claiming that we are trying to live into the arena, or we are yet to achieve. Some people say that we are yet to achieve in a upcoming 1 decade we will achieve the artificial general intelligence AGI arena, right? What is AGI now? AGI means we are able to the bots, the machines, right? Let's call them as a machines versus humans, right? Machine versus humans. Now it's the race between machine versus humans, correct? So machines are now getting intelligence. That is what the artificial intelligence is all about. So if they are limited task, they can perform the limited task. They are called as narrow one. We have seen the example of Apple Siri, then Alexa, right? Google Assistant and all. Then what is AGI? Then AGI means now their thinking capability or their decision making power, they are trying to compete with the human beings. They are as par as par with the human being when it's come to the cognitive decision making, right? And when it comes to the making the decision, right? So when it comes to performing the tasks which are just like the human beings, which require the decision making, which require the ability to understand, perform the decision making, analyze the things, and to take the decision, right? And what could be such example, right? Very critical example like self-driving cars. In self-driving car, obviously the shallow or narrow AI will not be able to perform. We need to understand certain things before we try to drive the cars, right? And there could be certain uncertainty as well, right? So who will come from where, someone will follow the rule, someone will not follow the rule. So this kind of a complex task. Or have you guys heard of the ROS? So this is the humanoid bot, right, which is created for specially in terms of the uh, uh, judicial system, right, where it will be able to perform like a AI attorney. So let me tell you that what is this AI attorney is all about, right? AI attorney means, let's take the simple example that there will be a bot, because you know, guys, nowadays in the judicial system, or let be in court cases and all the legal system, there are thousands and thousands of cases which are available, right, which are still pending, and some of them cases will be requiring certain judgment based on the some clear rules, right? So clear rules, what could be a clear rules? Could be something that if you're trying to drive a bike and if you break a signal, right, if you break a signal, there is a law associated it, right? So there is a legal law under the Indian Penal Code that if you try to break certain law, there will be certain repercussions, right? So either you will have to pay the fine and accordingly. So for such reason, let's imagine what will happen if we try to have this kind of a humanoid bots which are trained on the entire Indian Penal Code or entire judiciary system. Okay, as a their training data, all the laws and all. So imagine that when you break the law, or you try to uncertainly or undeliberately you try to break any law, or something goes wrong, then you have to go and appear in the court, right? So then court will ask you whether you committed this crime or not, and then once you commit this crime, they will start give you a challan, and that challan has to be paid, and that's all. Nowadays it is coming like immediately on the mobile phone and on, right? So I am trying to take certain more examples where there could be certain decision making is required based on whether you are able to perform your, whether you are made a mistake or not made a mistake, right? So this kind of a bot, they are trained upon ROS kind of a AI attorney, which will be able to pass the judgment, right? There will be a virtual court, there will be virtual court, and there will be a virtual AI agent which will be become a judge, right? So the judge will be also virtual, and now you can proceed in front of him. It will be able to understand, it will be pass the law when there is a clear cut things. Yeah, okay, guys. Why I'm trying to denote using the pen, because it makes sense in certain cases. Okay, okay. So I will just highlight the things so you will be able to understand what exactly I'm talking about. Okay. So guys, then what could be more interesting to understand about the AGI is kind of a GPT kind of application, right? So GPT-3, GPT-4, where you are trying to speak in the human language, right? And you will be able to get the response in the human language as well, right? So this kind of a capabilities are called as AGI. And then there will be third category as something called as super artificial intelligence. In super artificial intelligence, have you guys just quickly let me have a discussion with you. Have you guys heard of this Jarvis? Or have you guys seen the Terminator movie? Within that, I'm sure most of you might have seen within that Terminator movie, there is a something called as Skynet, right? And so can you guys just try to relate the things like, yeah, you might have heard, right? So in Iron Man, so you guys already know, right? Jarvis software. So what it does, it's a kind of a personal assistant, but it can understand all the things, right? So you ask it, right, whether you want to create any quantum physics thing, or you want to create any kind of a mechanical thing, or you want to design something, or it will be able to perform all the jobs based on the vehicle, right? Based on the voice commands, and it will be able to create a complex task, let it be engineering drawing, let it be physics, quantum mechanics, everything. It will be able to perform, right? So now what is happening is the AI capability, okay, this AI capability, now they are trying to compete with the human beings, right? Or not compete with the human beings here, even they are trying to perform a job better than the human beings, right? They kind of this kind of example. These are yet to achieve, guys. These are yet to achieve. We have not achieved, but it is sure, might you might have seen in the movies, but in some coming arenas it will be possible that we'll have this kind of a system, and maybe they will one day they will try to perform the task more than the human being, or they're trying to compete with the human being. They can surpass the human intelligence. Okay, they can surpass the human intelligence, and then they maybe think just like the iRobot. They might think that including emotions, I think. Yeah, guys. So emotions, emotion analysis or derogatory speech, everything, that kind of a capability is already developed nowadays, right? So people can understand if you trying to give a speech now by using the speech analysis or the, yeah, so chess games, supercomputer against it, correct, guys. So this kind of a capabilities where they're trying to beat the things, right, human being. So may they might decide one day that they will be able to surpass human being and they can even dominate the human being. Okay, so this kind of capability is called as super AI. So everyone now clear what kind of capabilities we have? We have something called as narrow, we have AGI, we have a super artificial intelligence. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. We have to cover a lot of topics now. And before that, just give me one moment, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Let me check the things and then we can start. Just give me 1 minute, okay? All right. Okay, let me see if you guys are asking anything. Yeah. Difference between AI generative. Now we'll come to that topic, guys. Now you have understood the capabilities, that what are the capabilities we have nowadays, right? So what are the capabilities we have? Now you have understood. Now we'll come to that. Now we'll come to that thing, that now where the Gen AI is fitting into this entire arena, right? So we'll try to understand that now. Awesome. So once we understand these categories, let's move ahead quickly. Okay. So where the Gen AI is fitting, right? What exactly Gen AI now? All right. Angels will come to defeat. No, guys, human has to defeat because human is creating, right? So, okay, guys. So let's try to focus here, guys, very quickly. Skynet is fine for human in future. Okay, guys. So, guys, let's try to understand now very, very quickly that how the Gen AI now fitting into the entire things. Okay. So if I try to talk about the AI, guys, AI is a, let's understand AI as an universe. Okay. AI is the entire universe as an AI. Within that universe, guys, we have something called as machine learning, and then there is something called as deep learning. So there are two capabilities. Okay. In AI, there is a machine learning, there is a deep learning. So very quickly, I will try to explain you what is machine learning, what is different deep learning, how they are different from each other, and then we'll try to talk about how Gen AI fitting into these topics. Okay, where the Gen AI. So if I try to look at the diagram, Gen AI is an amalgamation of all these technologies, right? And especially in the Gen AI, it will be focusing on the two categories, which I'll try to explain here very quickly. Okay, so guys, try to understand in the AI we have a two capabilities. One is called as machine learning, and one is called as deep learning. I will write as deep learning. So guys, how to bifurcate then? When now what is my clear extension out here is, when you will be able to walk away from this entire discussion, then you should be able to understand. People talk about very frequently machine learning, deep learning, AI. They talk about Gen AI. So you should be very clear about the terms, that what is Gen AI, what is machine learning, what is AI, how they are different from each other. Okay, AI is like all the technologies comes under the AI, right? And narrow AI is something called as, which is having a limited capability, which can use machine learning, deep learning as well, right? So when I'm trying to talk about the machine learning and deep learning, how they are different from each other, there are two differential parameters. One is the kind of the data we are trying to process out here, and second criteria will be the algorithm which we are trying to use here, right? In machine learning, yeah, I will tell you about the project management tool also. Okay, guys, let's have, I know you want to understand many things, but due to the limited capabilities, guys, we'll try to focus here on certain topics. Okay, I would love to tell you this thing. Guys, let's quickly like try to understand this one, because we have to cover the certain other topics as well. I need to show you the prompts as well in the last 10 minutes, like how the prompt will look like, chat GPT discussion. Okay, so very quickly try to understand what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning, guys. First, it comes to data. What kind of a data is processed by machine learning algorithm? What kind of a data is processed by deep learning algorithm? When I'm trying to talk about the machine learning, guys, it is mostly the structured data. So can you guys quickly tell me what is structured data? And when it comes to the deep learning, it's the unstructured data which try to process here. So what is the difference between structured and unstructured data, guys? Can anyone tell me very quickly if you know what is structured data? Raw text from the formatted data, target variable, Excel, SQL. Correct, correct. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So when yeah, and what about, guys? What about unstructured data? Can anyone give me a very quick example of the unstructured data? What could fall into unstructured data? Not HTML. Yeah, correct, 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 correct. Videos, images, text. Okay. So guys, try to understand when I'm trying to talk about the machine learning. Machine learning uses the data which is structured one. And if I want to tell you the definition of the structured one, so the data which can be fitted into the rows and columns. Okay, this kind of arrangement, rows and columns, which could be called as the structured data. But when I'm trying to talk about, okay, when I'm trying to talk about the unstructured data, the guys, unstructured data is mostly about the images. Okay, images, videos, okay, audio, and the text data. So this kind of a data is called as unstructured. So when machine learning comes into picture, it is mostly about the structured data. When deep learning comes into picture, it is mostly about the unstructured data. Okay, that is the one thing. Then guys, try to understand that what kind of algorithms are used that makes machine learning different from the deep learning. Okay guys, correct. So in machine learning, guys, in machine learning we use this kind of algorithm, statistical algorithm, y equal to mx plus c. Okay, so y equal to mx plus c. Let me write it very quickly. Y equal to mx plus c. I know most of you know that this is a straight line equation, right? So this x is nothing but our input variable, right? So we are trying to perform, yeah, linear equation, correct? Slope and intercept, correct guys, already. So this x is nothing but our input variable, and y is something we're trying to predict, right? So let's take the example, you want to predict the BMI. Okay, so in order to predict the BMI, you might be giving age, you might be giving height, you might be giving weight, and certain other criteria. That criteria will be called as x. So you pass x here, then you can multiply by this m and c, which are slope and intercept, which are unknown at the initial level, but later on it will try to find out the optimal values, and then it can perform the prediction that what could be the BMI, right? So this kind of a things where we try to perform the prediction based on certain statistical algorithm is fall into the machine learning, guys. Machine learning uses the data, which is structured one. We use the algorithm, which are the statistical algorithm. But when it comes to the deep learning, guys, when it comes to the deep learning, how deep learning is different. In deep learning, especially we are trying to focus on the data, which is mostly about the image, text, and audio data. And why deep learning is important? Hypothesis, correct guys? So if you imagine, guys, in one day in the entire universe, in one day in the entire universe, how much data is generated? Whatever the 100% of the data is generated, out of that 80% of the data is unstructured one. Unstructured one. What could be unstructured data? So you are trying to perform some tweets, you are going to social media, right? So you are posting images, Twitter, okay, Facebook, all Meta, all these kind of things, or smart watches, digital watches, everything out here. 80% of the data is unstructured nowadays. That's why the deep learning and especially the generative AI gaining the importance. And the, if you won't imagine that, around 7 to 10 zettabytes of the data, zettabytes of the data created, and 1 zettabyte equal to 10,000 GB, guys. Okay, let me rub these things now. You are already clear, right? So deep learning, guys, mostly uses the unstructured data, and it is trying to use the neural networks. Okay, what kind of a neural networks is used? Artificial neural network. Artificial neural network. You might have seen this kind of a diagram, right? So this kind of a diagram where they are trying to have this kind of a perceptron model. Okay, they are connected to each other, and now you are passing here the inputs, and it will be able to get a prediction. So they are trying to perform the image recognition task, right? So image classification, image recognition, or kind of object detection model, pose detection model. So nowadays, even the gyms are getting highly affected by this, right? All these kind of things, let it be emotion detection, all video, audio, text related data. And they're using this kind of algorithm, ANN, CNN, and the third one is RNN, guys. So this RNN is very important. Try to understand recurrent neural network. Okay, so this recurrent neural network, and yeah, correct, guys. See, recurrent neural network is the base backbone for the generative AI now. So now try to understand in briefly. I don't want to go into detail because we have already half an hour left now, but try to understand the things that when it comes to the deep learning uses the neural networks, but machine learning uses the statistical algorithm. The data used is structured, here unstructured data, images, audio, text. Okay, now images, audio, text, this is what they are using. Then there are three algorithms I told you. Out of that, there is a one algorithm, one kind of a neural network, which is called as recurrent neural network, which try to deal with the text kind of a data, kind of a data, and sequential data. Okay, sequential data. Now this is the backbone for the generative AI, especially generative AI. Okay, why backbone for the generative AI? Are recurrent neural network. When we try to take the recurrent neural network and try to transform them into the complex architectures. Okay, complex architecture. What are the complex architecture? Kind of a transformers. Okay, let me rub these things and tell you something called as transformers architecture. Okay, transformer architecture coming from the base algorithm recurrent neural network, and this is the complex architecture which is created out of this base neural network, and these are the models which are used in the GenAI. Now let's focus here. Now I think we are good with the basic understanding. Now try to focus that what exactly GenAI, guys. In GenAI we have a two categories. One is LLM, large language model, and one is called as large vision model. So in language model, LLM and LVM. So LVM talks about the image generation, okay, video generation, Okay, audio generation. These are the two capabilities. They are not models, guys. I will tell you what are the model actually. These are capabilities. And when we try to talk about LLMs, you have LLM, they try to talk about the text data, or they try to talk about the human languages. Okay, so LLM and LVM, these are the two approaches in the Gen AI. So in LLM, and our today's focus, guys, our today's focus is something called as LLM and LVM. LVM is image generation, audio generation. LLM is natural language. It try to deal with the human language or natural language. Okay, natural language generation. And today's topic is all about the LLMs. So these two capabilities are there. Okay, and what kind of a models we are using, right? And that Chat GPT kind of application, right? This Chat GPT kind of application, which is our today's tool. So this application falls into this category, large language model. Okay, so I'll explain what is large language model, but try to understand in large language model, there are in LLMs, guys, the base model. LLM is not model, guys. LLM is a concept, large language model, because it try to deal with the human language. You pass a query in the human language text, and you will be able to get the response back in the human language in terms of a text. So this kind of a capability, what could be the capability? So text summarization, right? Text generation, like you are trying to write an email, text generation. Okay, sentiment analysis, code generation, right? So you report generation, or predicting the next word, in the sentence, right? Or summarization technique. All these kind of a capabilities fall into language modeling. Okay, yeah, GPT, Grok, Llama, Bard, correct, guys? This kind of application also. Yeah, correct, guys. LangChain. Yeah, LangChain is the best framework. Yeah, Llama Index is also, guys, best. Okay. GitHub Copilot code generation, but guys, GPT can also generate the code. I will give you example today. Okay, how the GPT can help you to create even data science models. Okay, so within a like a half an hour, you can create entire modeling. Okay, so guys, try to understand LLM. Okay, and LVM we will not talk about today. LVM is like large vision model, but I'll try to give you a glimpse around it. Okay, so I think in generative AI, you understood that there are two capabilities, and what are the models present. Models which are the base model could be GPT. GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer, guys. Transformer model. Okay, so there is something called as BERT model. BERT model, T5 model. Okay, BERT model, T5 model. T5 model is used for the machine level translation, like translating from one language to another. So this kind of a capabilities fall into the large language model, guys. Okay, I think most of you are able to hear, guys. So if you check, uh, if you can check, guys, that you are able to hear me properly, right? Yeah. So all of them are able to hear, guys. Okay, so we understood now there are two capabilities. Now try to focus and that GPT as the main models, and when it comes to vision model, there are vision model stands for the GAN model, guys, generative adversarial networks. Okay, so these generative adversarial network are the backbone or good. Okay, so let's try to focus now how exactly to differentiate traditional AI from the Gen AI. Okay, so this I will try to leave it as it is, guys. So narrow AI capabilities we already spoken. Okay, so yeah, multimodal language model required for Gen AI. Which language required? Python, guys. Mostly user using Python. Okay, so guys, try to understand in narrow AI we have something called as virtual assistant, right? Email filtering, spam or not spam, social media, Alexa. Okay, fraud detection, image analysis, image recognition, navigation prediction system, language translation is coming into Gen AI also. So okay, this kind of a capability, these are the application of narrow AI. But when it comes to Gen AI, generating the content, music creation, 3D model creation, video generation, right? Art creation, code creation, image creation, virtual assistant, right? Chatbot, which are smart enough, right? Or what is the famous, guys? Deepfake, right? So this is one of the example in LVM, large vision model. So you already know that there is a deepfake case happened, right? With the Sara Tendulkar, she posted her brother's photo and it was morphed with other, or Rashmika Mandana's case, right? So you have one reference image. Based on the reference image, you are trying to create a new image, right? So these kind of a things. So these are certain limitation as well, right? And this is what we'll try to talk about also. Guys, Python is like they have a certain, yeah. I will quickly give you answer, right, guys? Diffusion models falls into, sir. Diffusion models are GAN model only, but they are complex architecture from the GAN model. Okay, so I think you will be able to understand this one. Okay, so diffusion are nothing but the GAN architecture only. I'll give you brief. Okay, and why Python is because Python has the flexibility, all the packages which are required here. That's the reason. Okay, so guys, these are certain application in the GenAI. Okay, let's try to move ahead and try to understand. Okay, guys. Yeah. This already we have already spoken. That's the reason I have tried to cover it fast. Okay. So my intention is that you should be able to understand the things, okay, correctly. So this already spoken about. That's the reason I'm trying to rush. So guys, now try to understand. I have already spoken about this slide. I will leave it to you. So what kind of a neural networks are there in generative AI? What kind of a neural networks we are using? Okay, but try to understand. This is a simple diagram. Now going forward, there will be no confusion among everyone. So guys, in generative AI, when I try to talk about the normal AI or traditional AI, yeah, guys, you will get a recording. Don't worry. So guys, in a normal AI or a traditional AI, I will put it as a discriminative AI. Okay? Traditional AI that will be called as a discriminative AI, and there is something called a generative AI. Now let's take the example that what kind of a data is there, what models are there, and what output you are getting, and based on that you will be able to understand that how generative AI is different from each other after session. Yeah, we'll share the PPT, guys. Don't worry. So let's take the example, guys, from the Spotify. Okay, from the Spotify, you are taking a 5-minute song. Okay, now 5-minute song is taken, so it's a music. Okay, so it's a data is our music. Now 5-minute song you have taken, and now you are passing that to the model. Okay, so what could be model? I told you that recurrent neural network, artificial neural networks we are using, right? Within that there is a recurrent neural network, LSTM, GRU. This kind of a models are there. Okay, so this model are called as discriminative model. So if you take a song, 5-minute song from the Spotify and give it to the model, okay, this kind of a discriminative model, what you will receive the output? You will receive the category. So what category this music belongs to? Okay, what category this music belongs to? So this yeah guys, everything will be provided, PPT will be provided. Okay, so what is the output, guys? When you try to talk about the traditional AI, the output will be, you will get a category whether this song belongs to rock, classical, or romantic. Okay, you are getting the categories. Okay, but the same data, same 5-minute song, if you pass to a generative AI model, could be a GAN model, GPT model, right? So like T5 model, BERT model, I told you, right? So there are other models as well, but just to give you example. And what will be the output you will be get? So you passing one music and you are able to generate a new music out of it, right? So now we are generating something. We are generating something, but in case of the traditional AI, it is kind of a discriminative. Or you pass one image, you pass one image, you will be able to tell whether that image belongs to Vikas or not belongs to Vikas, right? We are trying to classify the image, or at the most in the within the image, if there are the object present, we are trying to detect the object. But in Gen AI, if you try to pass a music, it will be creating altogether the new music out of the base music, right? So that's how this is generative, and this is called as discriminative AI, traditional AI. So in short, if you want to, okay, let me rub these things. And in short, try to understand what is the output we are receiving. If your output is a class, probability, category, like this kind of a categories, so it is not a Gen AI, guys. But if it is a Gen AI, means when you pass any kind of a text, image, or audio, out of that you are getting new text, image, audio, video, images, frame, right? So this kind of a things is called as Gen AI. Now I think now everyone is clear what is Gen AI, how it is different from the traditional AI, correct? So you are passing something and you are generating new things out of it, not the probability, not the text or anything, right? So if you are trying to get the probability, text, or classes, categories, this is a traditional discriminative AI. But if you pass the input and you are getting generating new output out of it, so that will be called as generative AI as well, right? So guys, let's try to understand now what is LLMs now. Then what are the LLMs? What is the prompt? Okay. So LLMs are nothing but, guys, these are the basic model. Okay. The basic model could be a GPT model, generative pre-trained transformer model, T5 model. Okay. Could be a BERT model, or could be a auto encoder decoder model. Okay. Auto encoder. These kind of a models are there. And for this model, they are coming from the, or all are coming from the recurrent neural network, which are based in the deep learning. So this model are made complex, like they are stacked the literally layers above each other. They made a complex architecture, and this complex architecture now exposed, okay, now exposed to a massive data set. Massive data set in the sense, let's take the example that you are trying to take the entire Wikipedia and you are force that data as an training data to this kind of a model. So that is why it is called as large language model, because one thing that they are replicating the human like responses, okay, in terms of the human languages. And then they have their base data set, which is very, very huge in the zettabytes of the data, like 10,000 GB or billions of data, right? It's been exposed. That is why it is called as large language model. Okay, so they have billions of parameters, just like compared to the normal. And what are the capabilities they can perform? They can perform as an article writing, they can be a chatbot, that could be summarization, that could be a language translation, code generation, right? Retrieval. So this kind of a capabilities are there. That is why they are called as large language model, because they are trying to deal with the languages, sentiment creation, emotion understanding, right? Article generation, summarization, text creation, predicting the next word, chatbots, like human like conversation. So this kind of a capabilities are there, but the base model we one. Yeah, I will speak about it, Nikhil. Yes, I will speak about it. How to jump into generative AI. I will give you a path, very brief. Okay. So guys, everyone understood what is large language model? Large language model, the base model taken, the huge data set is been exposed, and now this data set is able to generate something like the generative AI technology using generative AI. This kind of a generation is done. Okay. So that is called as Gen AI. Now let's try to understand. We understood LLM. So in LLM, once you are able to understand LLM, okay. So now what is prompt exactly? Prompt is nothing but, okay. So guys, prompt is nothing but a query or question. Prompt is nothing but query and question, okay. So in order to interact with the large language model, guys, you have to ask one query or question. So the question is the text. So the text which you are passing is called as prompt, guys. Okay. So the prompt should be very correct. Once you are able to converse with the LLMs or the kind of a GPT kind of a model, so prompt plays a very important role. If your query is correct, you are trying to rephrase your question in such a format that the models or the machines are able to understand, then only they will be able to generate a response out of it. That is why the prompt is altogether very important job nowadays, right? So that's why there is something called as prompt engineering, because based on the prompt, like what kind of a question you are asking, it will be able to give you the result, because it is already trained on the data, but it should be able to understand the human language. So in order to understand human language, they are trained on the human language prompts as well, right? So the prompts are also that's the reason if you try to look at the models configuration, they say that it is trained on the 30,000 prompts. Prompt means the standard questions and answers, standard question answer, what kind of a question humans can ask and what could be the probable result for it. So they have a base data, plus that they have something called as human language aligning with the human alignment, right? So these prompts, and then tokens is nothing but, guys, there is something called as token limit, means how many words. Token are nothing but the words, okay, how many words you can expose at a time to a large language model. Okay, so there is a prompt, there is a token means words, a simplest finest word which you can divide up, reach up to dividing the entire sentence or paragraph. So it could be word. So these words are called as tokens. The token comes with the prompt is nothing but a question and query. You ask question and query, you will be able to get a response out of it. And large language model are, they are the base model which are trained on the multiple huge data set, right? So now everyone understand what is LLM, what are the prompt, and what is the token, right? So that's the why the people talks about it. Now, guys, I will not go into details now for this slide, because we have to focus on the prompt also, and I have to give you the path, like what is the path for the generative AI, right? And what are the entire application. But this slide I will give it to you. So this most of these topics we have already spoken upon. Let it be a share market, let it be IT, or let it be a image recognition, healthcare, art, creativity. Everywhere there is a general AI. Or let's take the example like personalized recommendation, e-commerce industry, right? So Gen AI. But before we go into this topic, right, we understood what is Gen AI, how it is different from discriminative AI, what are the capabilities Gen AI has, what are the model look like, right? Large vision model, large language model. So they are nothing but coming from the recurrent neural network. So very short one slider I would like to give you before we proceed into the prompt engineering, or how to generate the prompt and what is the path for the Gen AI engineer. Guys, one thing that you need to understand, that there are certain risk and limitation in the Gen AI as well, right? So what could be the risk and limitation in the Gen AI? Let me tell you. Very simple example, and then pace. Yeah, guys, because we have to cover certain topics. You can go through it. So pace, because I am not going into the detail. That's the reason you might be thinking, because these things we already spoken, like what are the implication and all. So please bear with it. So maybe you can go through it again, the slides, and you will be able to understand what I'm talking. But I'll try to slow down, guys, as soon as possible, because we have only 10 minutes. So I have to show the prompts also. That is the reason I'm trying to rush through the things which are not important as of now, right? So I would love to extend this, but I have certain commitments also. So that's the reason. Okay. So guys, try to understand what are the limitation. Okay. What limitation could be biasness, could be ethics, right? So that's the reason now European Union has come up with the AI laws, right? Law of AI. So Union has come up with now why they're coming up. Let's take the very simple example, guys. Multi-part, yeah, guys, I would agree, but I will today's topic, try to understand. Today's topic is just the introduction, guys, foundation. You should be able to understand the things, and then some glimpse of it. Okay, so guys, try to understand. Okay, we'll try to focus, guys. We'll try to focus here for 5 minutes, and then we'll try to understand what are the limitation. Okay, risk, I agree with you guys. Okay, I agree. Okay, guys. Yeah, let's try to plan for, yeah, we'll plan, guys, we'll plan. Okay, so let's try to understand at least there should be a takeaway from this. I want to give you most of it. Okay, so but that's the reason that I am trying to skip the things which you can read on your own. Okay, no, that's not necessary. Okay, guys, let's focus on what are the limitation now. There is something called as hallucination, guys. One term is there called as hallucination. So this is the limitation of the GenAI. Now what is hallucination? So hallucination, can anyone quickly tell me? Save time, skip theory part. Yeah, guys. Yes, that's the reason. Okay. So that's the reason I will take only 2 slides and then we'll go to the prompts. Okay, guys. So that's why I'm skipping the theory parts. But try to understand what are limitations. Something called as hallucination. Let's imagine that your Gen AI model, okay, trained on certain data, right? Certain data. Now, if you ask a question, which is not present in the data, right? Which is not present, like out of syllabus question, like we try to prepare for the exam, and some question will hallucination means got giving incorrect. Correct, guys. Correct. Okay, so there is a controlling parameter also, guys, something called as temperature, but I will not. Yeah. Okay, guys, fabricated data. Let's try to understand what exactly hallucination means. So, guys, try to understand that there is a base data which is available with the GenAI now. Okay, so but if you try to ask a question which is not in present in the data, now what will happen is it will not skip that question. Okay, it will not skip that question, but based on the knowledge, Yeah, guys, I will show you that one within one slide. Okay, I'll show you that. So based on the knowledge, whatever the knowledge it has, it will try to generalize the knowledge and it will try to give you the answer. That is called as hallucination. So it is not wrong, but it is not correct actually, but it try to give you the answer based on whatever knowledge it has. That is called as hallucination. Okay, so let's take the example that what could be the biasness. Biasness means if you try to train your GenAI model, okay, GenAI model in such a way that it will be able to shortlist the resumes. Okay, shortlist the resume based on the resume skill set, whatever the skill set you are written for the position, right? So at that time, guys, if you try to train your model based on certain regions, or let's imagine when you train the model on 100 resumes, out of that 60 resumes were for the girls and 40 resumes were for boys. Okay, male, female. Let's put it in male and female. Okay, females 60% resume. Now what will happen? Even though you specifically not telling your shortlisting Gen AI capability that you should give a preference to female candidate, right? But looking at the amount of data, so the 60% data belongs to female category. So it will try to understand that there is a certain importance given to the gender. By default, it will try to understand that pattern, and when it try to comes to shortlisting, guys, it will take into consideration this kind of a category criteria, right? So that's the reason, guys, that's the reason that you should be able to understand that there should not be any bias and ethics. So there should be ethics present, right? And what could be one example, one last example, and then we'll go to the GenAI slide. Okay, where we'll try to showcase you the path for the GenAI and then the career, okay, and then prompts. So try to understand, if you're driving autonomous car, okay, let's take the example autonomous car, and if it hits someone, so who will be responsible? My question is, who will be responsible, guys? If you are driving a autonomous car and something goes wrong with the car hits someone accidentally, right? Some accident happens, so who should be put into the bar, right? So there should be someone who should be put into accusation, right? So there will be someone who should be punished, and in that case, my question is, who should be punished, right? At that time, owner of the car, owner, or the company. Let's imagine you are driving Tesla cars, so the Elon Musk should be put into the bars, or the software engineer who created this software, AI engineer, or could be a person, a tester who created the testing and he passed this example, right? So pass this, or owner of the car, right? No one. So guys, that's the reasons. No one want to take the responsibility. No one, something goes wrong, no one wants to take the responsibility. Everyone is said that whosoever bought the car, it's his responsibility. People will say whosoever created the software is responsible. That's the reason, guys. That's the reason. If you try to see there, so that's the reason they are trying to come up with the AI law, so that something goes wrong, there should be someone responsible for it, right? So that's the reason. These are certain limitation, guys, that which will be present in the Gen AI. Okay. Hope you guys are able to understand victim one, correct? So that's the reason, guys. There are certain limitations like hallucination, biasness, ethics, regulations, right? So responsibility, that who will be responsible if something goes wrong, right? So, okay, guys. I think enough we have spoken about the limitation and all. So these are certain tools, guys. These are certain tools for the Gen AI, top 10 tools based on the capabilities. If you want to generate a text out of image, okay. So these are the tools available. If you want to generate text to video, so these are tools available, like Runway is there, right? Synthesia is there. Text to video, text to image, DALL-E 2 is there, right? So there is Rally 2, Stable Diffusion, Mid Journey, this kind of a tools. And this is the tool where our ChatGPT falls into, right? So we ask a text and it will be able to give us a text back, OpenAI. So these are kind of a tools, text to code, like GitHub Pilot is there, Microsoft Copilot is there, right? So building text to music, this kind of a tools are available, right? So I've tried to put in these tools, guys, for your reference. Okay. Yeah, guys, there are free tools as well. So you can search and you will be able to get it. Okay. I've listed these tools. So let's go ahead, guys, and let's try to understand. So, okay, this is some live example. I wanted to demonstrate that how the tools will look like. And let's take an example within 2 minutes. Okay. Let's take the example. Okay. How the tools are look like. This tool is coming from the GPT. Okay. This snapshot from the GPT. In GPT, I'm asking, can you generate a Python code for EDA, for the data analysis? Okay. This kind of a prompt I'm passing. Can you generate a code for data analysis? And guys, it will be able to generate an entire code for me. Okay. Entire code for me. Let me run this GIF and you will be able to understand this one. Okay. So see here. So I am passing this kind of text and you can see here snippet of code, right? It is able to generate the snippet of code. Or let's take the example of Mid Journey. How it look like? Mid Journey, guys, it is a bot which is deployed on the terminal. Okay. And it is try to generate the images. You just pass the text, like here, people are passing text. It is able to generate the image, or this DALL-E 2, right? So this is one of the example, guys, where you are passing. Yes, after that update. So WhatsApp. Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So like this kind of a tool, right? Where it is able to perform the things. Okay, so these are certain example of the tool. Now if you want to perform likewise, this is one more the architecture. I will keep it for yourself because of short of the time, but I wanted to also discuss like how the architecture look like when people try to generate the text to image, right? So these are something called as encoder decoder model. You pass a reference image and text, guide, it will be able to understand just like the Pictionary game, and it will be able to generate a picture. So it is getting trained on the text and the image in the background, and then it will be able to generate a architecture out of it, right? So what is the roadmap? That this is what everyone is interested in. What is the roadmap? How should I get upskill with the Gen AI? Guys, everything start with the artificial neural network. Before that, you should have a Python programming and stat basics. One of the programming language which is very famous is Python and stats. Then, guys, you should be able to understand the certain concept like artificial neural network, convolution neural network, and the recurrent neural network. So this is what you are supposed to learn. Okay, this third pillar talks about the recurrent neural network. Second pillar talks about convolution neural network. Convolution neural network means image detection, object detection, deep learning techniques. Okay, falls into this one. In recurrent neural network, I told you BERT model, transformer model, this kind of a models are there. Once you are able to understand with the basic of stat and Python, this kind of a categories, guys, then you can go for the language modeling. Okay. Yeah, guys, Java is not supported in most of the things. That's why I'm recommending Python, because Python has all the capabilities available. Okay, then you can go for this language modeling. Okay, in the language modeling, you will be able to understand how the GPT works upon and what are the different capabilities. Then LangChain, Llama Index, this kind of a framework. Then chatbot creation. Okay, so this kind of a capabilities. And once you are able to understand this kind of a capabilities, guys, you will be able to create a roadmap for the entire Gen AI field. Okay. So Gen AI starts with the stats, Python, this kind of a neural network language modeling, and then understanding the different models, like what are the different model available and how to implement them in terms of the things, right? Yeah, guys, since I have stretched it, that's the reason it's not available. But when you try to see the presentation, you will see all the names. It's talk about the recurrent neural network. Okay. Recurrent neural network has the capability like different models I try to cover here. And then what is the reward, guys? What is the reward for this kind of a things? Whether AI will take your job? No, guys, AI will not take your job. Let's take the example that nowadays they are trying to create the software engineer. That doesn't mean that your job will be taken out. Now only coding part will be taken care by your assistant. Like everyone will try to get one assistant which will be able to generate a code, and the logical task will be done by you guys. Okay. So this kind of a path is there. And if you try to look at the salaries, guys, for entry level, you're getting like 60K. For mid level, you're getting 100K. And for senior level, 200K plus a path is there. Okay. So these kind of things are there. All right, guys. So last thing before we conclude our session, I know it's late. Uh, yeah, guys, I would like to answer, but as of now, since limitation of the time, we'll try to keep one more session. Last thing, guys, before we end up our session, I would like to discuss one more thing with you guys. Let me share my entire screen only, and then you will be able to understand the things what I am actually talking about. Okay. Okay, guys. So guys, I just want to give you a couple of glimpse like how the prompt should be given. Okay, so guys, see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take this data. Okay, this data is from the banking industry. Okay, in the banking industry, let's imagine you want to build a model which will be able to detect the defaults in the upcoming customer base, right? Okay, so guys, let's take the example and then we'll try to end up our session. I know it's already late. So guys, let's imagine that you want to create an model, okay, out of the prompt without code. Okay, so it will be able to generate code. So I will give you one simple example of banking industry expert. So if you have this kind of a customer data set, how you will be able to build a model which will be able to detect the default out of the data set. So what you have to do is like the prompt I'm writing. So you have to write the prompt that you want to act as a banking expert, and then this data belongs to a default data set. Then you have to give a name of the data set column names. So these are column names like loan, ID, married, independent, education status, property, and all, right? So you have to give the heading of the data, and then you just copy paste the some sample data, guys. I've just copy pasted some sample data here, some row of data, right? So if you have to write a prompt in such a way that you act as a banking expert. Nadeem Ahmed, yeah, I can understand. Yes, you are already into the topics. Okay, so that's good that you already know these things. But I will not go into the coding part today as of now. Okay, so I want to just show you the prompt. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, it's important. Sorry. So guys, let's try to understand how can I build a model. Okay, how can you build a model out of this entire data set? Okay, so you have to write a prompt that you act as a banking expert, then you have to give a name of the default data set, that this is a credit default data set, and you have to mention the feature name nothing but the column name, guys. Okay, column name. And within that, once you mention the column name, you have to just paste the data, guys. So what will happen is I already run this prompt, so that's the reason I will not run again, but it will take some time. So guys, once you are able to run the prompt, so what will happen is it will try to analyze everything. See, you are did not give any description that what is the description all about, just given the name and the sample data. So it will be able to analyze on its own, like the loan status is the default data set which you're trying to print or output variable, and these are the input variable and their explanation, like what is this explanation all belongs to, right? And these are the steps, like which are the steps which you can perform using the data set, like you clean the data first, then you perform EDA, then feature engineering, model building and evaluation, and then the interpretation. Okay, so this is what the steps is all about. Then what you want to understand is, like out of this data set, act as a financial expert and calculate the overall default data set, right? What is the default rate of the data? What is the default rate in the data set, right? Default rate. So just pass this prompt, guys, and it will be able to generate. Here it is able to generate the entire code for you, like it is taking the data, all the columns, then it is trying to perform the calculation, and it is giving you a snippet of code, right? So once you are able to get the default rate set, what you want to do is you want to create a report out of this, right? So let's imagine you have to write a prompt that if you want to act as a financial expert, perform some demographic analysis of the data and give a result in the form of the data. So, but I'm not giving any data and anything again and again, right? I'm just passing this prompt, guys. That's the reason, beauty of the prompts. And once you pass the prompt, guys, it will not only create the report, but it will try to put actual numbers also in the report, like this one, demographic analysis, right? Then gender distribution, male, female, marital status, how many married, how many single, right? Education level, dependence, employee status, and property. And once you are able to perform that, guys, then the last prompt which I'll try to run, which can build an entire model through which we can predict whether the people go into default or not default. So build a predictive model to predict the loan default based on the available features and provide the report in the same. Okay, so this is the prompt which can pass. And then, guys, imagine it has tried to create entire things for you. It is importing the libraries, everything. Then it is trying to take the data, clean the data. Then it is calling logistic regression model here. You can say it is fitting the model, and then model.predict, guys, it is taking the data and it is giving you accuracy also. Now it is giving you a certain examples also that how the entire thing is done and how the code data is generated, right? So guys, this way you can completely utilize this ChatGPT kind of a tool. I know it's a bit short and quick one, but this is the glimpse I want to give you within 1 hour. Like I know it's the time is very short, you have certain questions and all, but hope you guys have enjoyed today's session. Yeah, guys, knowledge is coding is required, guys. Yeah, knowledge is required. Yes. Yeah, guys, I know. Some few things went very fast because I wanted to skip these things because we have a limited time, guys. We have a limited time, so that's the reason. But I'll share this PPT and I hope you guys have enjoyed. You understood like what are the AI, traditional AI, how it is different, what are the ethics we need to understand, what are the base model, what are the different categories of the AI, and how can you run the prompt and everything, right? So there are certain topics also like the how the other model, vision model look like. I've covered that like encoder, decoder, or Pictionary games, all right? So you have a recording, guys. You can go through the recording presentation as well. So you'll be able to understand and get an entire glimpse. This is very basic session, guys. We'll try to keep a more detailed session as well. I know that there is a much to download and there is a heavy session all together. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for your response and how hope you guys are able to understand this one. All right, guys. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. So I wish you luck. Then hope you will able to understand everything. You saw the path, and you can end up soon in this kind of career. And you've seen that what kind of a career looks like, right? So see you guys then. Thank you very much, and I wish you luck that you will be able to get into the field. All right, guys. So I'll leave for the day and see you in the next session. Okay, and you will get the PPT and recording, guys. Don't worry. Yeah. Thanks again. Thanks, guys. Thanks once again. Thank you. Bye.